I love doing this service because one of the things I love to do is teach um, or and share uh, knowledge, especially when it's different from what we're used to, cultures. I always said if I hadn't majored in theater, I would have been an anthropologist like Sarah Mahler, because I've always been interested in why people do things in the name of whom, and good, bad, ugly, whatever. It just interests me what motivates people and how they live. But this particular um, this particular culture of Dia de los Muertos, um, I became very close to it as it's part of my son's heritage from his father. Um, Not directly, but because of where they come from. Um, so that's why I thought this would be a really wonderful thing to learn about. And now I get to share it with all of you. So that's a fantastic thing. So many cultures around the world recognize this time between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice as a special time to remember those we love who have passed away. In ancient times, it was believed spirits walked the earth, especially at this time. People would leave food and drink outside their door to welcome the spirits and hang objects over their doors for luck and protection, just in case a spirit wanted to come inside. Pagan people celebrate Samhain, the pagan New Year, with bonfires, dancing, and feasting. It is the last harvest of the season, a time of plenty. With so much to share, it seems fitting to also share with your departed loved ones. The Celts are still celebrating Samhain to this day, and it's catching on all over the world as people recognize the similarities the modern traditional celebrations have with ancient ritualistic holidays. The Christian element is sprinkled here and there, but the festivities are passionate and colorful, with music, costumes, face painting, and no longer quiet and austere, dull grays and browns. Now this time of year is colored with all the colors of the rainbow in magnificent splendor, just like the trees in the northeastern U.S. with all of their varied hues. Medieval Spain brought the Christian element from Europe to Mexico, as well as darker devastation, such as bubonic plague. The indigenous population didn't have any resistance against this disease, and the cities were decimated. The few survivors retreated into the jungle, deserting the former highly populated areas. This is a much more tragic side of the tale, but the Mexican people, hold on just a second. But the Mexican people now embrace their ancient rituals blended with contemporary religious beliefs, still holding their precious ancestors close to their cultural hearts. My mother-in-law was born in San Antonio, Texas, as were her parents, but she was raised by her grandfather, who was born in Mexico. She remembers going to church and celebrating All Saints' Day on November 1st, but not much about Dia de los Muertos. At that time, the Catholic Church was not encouraging it to be celebrated and would downplay the significance of it, creating instead All Saints' Day on November 1st and All Souls' Day on November 2nd. But there is so much to be celebrated at this time of year. Crosses, skeletons, and skulls can be seen not only in Mexican celebrations, but all over the world. History.com says this about skeletons and skulls. The most prominent symbols related to the Day of the Dead are the calacas, skeletons, and calaveras, skulls. In the early 20th century, the printer and cartoonist Jose Guadalupe Posada incorporated skeletal figures in his art, mocking politicians and commenting on revolutionary politics. His most well-known work, La Calavera Catrina, or Elegant Skull, features a female skeleton adorned with makeup and dressed in fancy clothes. In 1910, the etching was intended as a statement about Mexicans adopting European fashion over their heritage and traditions. La Calavera Catrina was then adopted as one of the most recognizable Day of the Dead icons. Now, you heard the song at the beginning, La Llorona. The song you heard during the slide presentation is very appropriate for this season. It tells a tale of a spirit, all in white, crying for her children. It's also said that she cries in hunger, so a festival with plenty of feasting and drinking should satisfy her. Or would it? As in all mythology, there is a central theme. In this one, tragedy strikes unexpectedly, and the once beautiful and hopeful mother is transformed into a mournful and scary spirit who floats above the water looking for her drowned children. Some compare this ancient story to similar Greek mythology that helps to explain the origin of war and conquest and mothers grieving for their lost ones or lost sons in senseless violence. The story is so unbelievable but so real as it's happened over and over again all throughout history. To help learn from this parable, some parents tell their children not to go out at night because La Llorona will get them and they may never return. It's not exactly accurate, but it may have saved a few who believe that La Llorona exists. I'm going to allow you to make up your own minds about La Llorona and leave you with this tidbit. All over the world during this time of year, people remember their departed loved ones and celebrate the different customs that are related to each other. Samhain, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, Halloween, and Dia de los Muertos. There must be something to this, don't you think? I do.